Hi people, it's me Anja. Welcome back to my channel. So my last video was the YA historical fiction recommendations. So this video is the juvenile fiction historical fiction recommendations. For those who don't know, juvenile fiction is the same thing as middle grade, and those two terms are interchangeable. I use juvenile fiction because I'm more familiar with that term. But yes, juvenile fiction is tailored toward the age group of ages 8 to 13. Young adult YA is ages 13 to 17. Adult is anything like above that, 18 and up. And then children's books, like picture books and stuff, is tailored toward the groups of anything below age 8. So it really just depends on the reader's level of comprehension and understanding, which is why I read both juvenile fiction and young adult, even though like I'm 19 years old. So yes. Anyway, the first book on this list is The Lions of Little Rock, written by Kristine Levine. I don't know if it's Kristen or Kristine, but anyway, tells the story of two girls who form an unbreakable bond. So it's friendship driven, and it's set during 1958 during the Little Rock, Arkansas integration of schools. One of the girls is black and the other one is white, and the protagonist is white. And I just love their friendship, and I rated this book 4 stars, and I reread it recently, and it's just so good, and I loved it. I loved it so much, and this is my favorite of Kristine's books, because after I read this book, I went and I read the rest of her books, and this is my favorite. So yes, I would highly recommend it. The next book is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, written by Boyne. Boyne, is that how you say it? Anyway, this is another story about friendship. It's the friendship of two young boys, and they're both 9 years old, I think, and it's set during the Holocaust. And this book was absolutely so good. I really enjoy it when a serious topic, such as the Holocaust, is told through the perspective of a young, innocent person who doesn't really know what's going on, but I know what's going on. And it's just like, it's interesting to see like how he perceives things and how, like, you know, so like that's really cool to me. So I would recommend this book, and it was just really like heart touching. Is that a word? English major who? Anyway, it was just really good. So yes. The next book is called The Night Dolly, written by Veera, Hiranandani, I think. All these authors' names will be listed with the corresponding books in the description below, in case I butchered any of these names. So The Night Dolly follows 12-year-old Nisha, she writes these letters to her mom. So it's written in letter format, and it's set in 1947 after India's partition, and that's a time period that I'm unfamiliar with. And I learned a lot through reading this book, and that's one of the reasons why I like historical fiction so much, since I love learning new things. And Nisha is such a wonderful protagonist and wonderful character, and I loved her literal journey as well as her figurative journey, because after India's partition, her father moves her to what is now India because she was previously living into what is now Pakistan. I don't know if that makes any sense. But basically in 1947, India split into what is now 2 countries, India and Pakistan, and it was previously just 1 country. I don't know. Anyway, so that was really interesting, and it was just so good, and absolutely lyrical and wonderful and lovely. The next book on this list is called Anna and the Swallow Man, written by Gabriel Savrit. Also, I know this isn't related to the book, but I don't know if you can hear like all the birds tweeting in the background, but like I said, that's because I'm outside and I'm allowed to go outside, so don't worry, I'm not breaking any laws. Anyway, Anna and the Swallow Man is about Anna, and she goes on a journey in the Swallow Man with the Swallow Man, and it's not really magical realism, although I guess it could be, because I'm still a little unsure as to what the Swallow Man is. But it's set in 1939 during the Holocaust, and Anna is 7 years old, so she's so innocent. And like Bruno in The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, she's not really certain as to what's going on because she doesn't really understand it. And like nobody really tells a 7-year-old about like what's really going on, you know? So I really like this book because again it's another story about a very serious topic told from an innocent perspective, and it was just really whimsical and really good. The next book is called Orange for the Sunsets, written by Tina Athaide. This follows two friends as their lives are transformed by Idi Amin's decision to expel Indians from Uganda in 1972. Again, this is a time period that I was unfamiliar with, so I learned a lot about the time period when I read this book, and it's also friendship driven, and I love a good friendship. It was just really good. I really liked everything about it. It was just so good, and I don't really know like what else to add to this review. So yeah. The next book is called The Colors of Leyland, written by Toalson. This is about a young boy in 1972 in Houston, Texas, and it's set against the desegregation battles. I really like this book because it's written in verse, and that's one of my favorite formats. And I really liked learning about desegregation from a Caucasian perspective. As a black person, I've read a lot about desegregation from black perspectives, and as well, as much as I agree that I think that reading from a black perspective is super important, it's also equally important to learn from a white perspective too, because I feel like growing up and learning about all of history, the white perspective was kind of not tossed to the side. I definitely learned about them, but it's definitely painted a certain way. So The Colors of Leyland gave me an insight as to what, I don't know, it just gave me an insight, and I learned a lot, and it was really good. And I've also never learned about that time period before, so that was also a win-win. So this book was great, and yeah, it was just really great. The last book, but certainly not the least book, is called Until Tomorrow, Mr. Marsworth, written by Sheila O'Connell. This is about a young girl who's determined to save her brother from the draft, and it's set during the Vietnam War. I really like this book because A, it's formatted in letters, which again is one of my favorite formats, and B, I just really liked Veera as a character. She's a strong, determined, tough young woman, and that's just what I love, you know? And I really liked that it's set in letters because it helped me like look forward to what Mr. Marsworth was going to say to her. I really liked that it was like a young person writing to an elderly like neighbor, because I feel like getting two perspectives from opposite sides of the spectrum was just really interesting. And yeah, I don't really know what other word to describe it. I keep repeating the word interesting, but like I don't really know what other word to say. But basically it was just really good. So yes. So in conclusion, all of these books I rated at least 4 stars, if not 5 stars. All of the books that I recommend to you guys, I would have rated them either 4 stars or 5 stars, because if it's anything below that, then normally I wouldn't really recommend it. So yeah, like I said in my last video, historical fiction is really underrated, and I don't know why. Now I also think that juvenile fiction is also underrated, because I feel like most of the audience on the booktonet are young adults, so they read YA or adult books. So like I said, the audience age group for juvenile fiction is ages 8 to 13, but of course it just depends on like how much your level of like understanding and comprehension. That just differs from person to person. That's just like a general statement. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below your favorite historical fiction recommendations. I'll leave my playlist of recommended reads in the description below. Yeah, thanks for watching. Stay inside, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy reading. Bye.